Who is Imbibitor Lunae? Why does he look like Dan Heng? And what's with Dan Heng's dark backstory? Honkai Star Rail just released a new 5-star character, Imbibitor Lunae. I've been saving for him since the start of the game, and there have obviously been a lot of leaks about this character. But let's do a non-leak review of everything we know about Imbibitor Lunae so far, because he's actually already been mentioned by name in the game. This video will not include any discussion of leaked information, nor will it include any major storyline spoilers for Honkai Star Rail. First of all, the question on everyone's minds: isn't this just 5-star Dan Heng? Yes and no. It's Dan Heng, but not as we know him. Let's do a little recap of Dan Heng's entire backstory, which should explain more. So we know that Dan Heng joined the Express crew to escape a past of his own making. He's always been kind of a little bit suspicious, and he also gave us this hint at the end of the Bellabug quest.
Dan Heng, how long can humans live for?
Forever. But in that scenario, they can't be considered human anymore.
Is he speaking from experience? It certainly sounds like it. His story description and light cone description also reveals some interesting information about his past. His story description says it's just another extremely average day aboard this giant ship. It's his first time seeing his own body clearly. This body belongs to him, it belongs to his current name. He's also being escorted by a soldier who removes the last of his shackles. It says Dan Heng walks forward without looking back, and he can feel several pairs of eyes gazing at him from within the city. Eyes filled with hatred. So first of all, what we can kind of gather from this is that Dan Heng is from the Xianzhou Luofu. He's also being escorted off the Xianzhou Luofu as a prisoner, and the people on the Xianzhou Luofu are looking at him with hatred. Part 2 of his story quest says Dan Heng's only goal is to get as far away as possible from his past, from his home. He's changed his appearance and might no longer be recognized, but he knows that same power still lurks within him. It also introduces the man with the beastly eyes, who we can presume is Blade, because of this cutscene.
Of 5 people, 3 must pay a price. You are one of them.
Basically, Blade wants him dead. We also get more clues from Dan Heng's light cone lore. It begins with somebody speaking to Dan Heng and saying, "Which entry were you having trouble with?" Dan Heng is grasping his pen as he looks at a bloody scene drawn in a notebook from his memory. And then the person says, "I see, it was the one about you." All in all, it kind of sounds like Dan Heng's past is a little bit dark. So from all of this lore, we can kind of piece together that Dan Heng did something pretty bad in the past, perhaps something even resulting in the death of a lot of people, which led to the people on his homeworld to hate him. And then he was banished from the Xianzhou Luofu. This would make complete sense because at the start of the newest Trailblaze quest, Dan Heng tells the other members of the Express crew that he can't go there.
If it were one of the other ships, it might have been okay. But I can't go to the Luofu. I'm forbidden from setting foot on that ship.
It also introduces a lot of interesting information about Blade, who seems to be following Dan Heng and clearly has some issues with him.
Is he connected to that past you want to escape?
I'm afraid my burden has finally caught up with me.
We can tell that Blade is from Dan Heng's past, but we don't really know much about that at the moment. So how does this all link background to this guy? From the look of this new character, we can presume that he is of the Vidyadhara race, the same as Bailu. We've been given lots of bits of information about the Vidyadhara race, that is such a mouthful, which we'll discuss more in a little bit. The new character reveal describes him as a high elder of the Luofu and the bearer of the Azure Dragon's legacy. He also has the duty of guarding the Ambrosial Arbor, which is the ancient artifact that was planted on the Xianzhou Luofu by the Aeon of Abundance.
The Stellaron is making the Ambrosial Arbor grow?
The Luofu's ancestors consumed the fruits of the Ambrosial Arbor, and that's how they gained immortality. His new character description also introduces the history of the Xianzhou 5 Dragons Exodus. Now back in this cutscene from when Dan Heng has the nightmare about Blade, Blade says of 5, 3 must pay a price.
Of 5 people, 3 must pay a price.
Is he talking about the 5 dragons? We don't know yet, but it would make sense. So how did Dan Heng become Imbibitor Lunae? We can guess that this is Dan Heng's original form. His story description does say that he had changed his appearance and might no longer be recognized. We also know that Vidyadhara can be reborn.
The Vidyadhara race is self-reincarnating. No mama dad required.
But when they're reborn, they don't hold their past memories. They basically become an entire new person with no knowledge of who they were before. So it's unclear whether Imbibitor Lunae was killed and then reborn as Dan Heng, which would make sense, but Dan Heng has memories of his past life, and Vidyadhara when reborn don't typically retain their old memories, so that theory doesn't entirely check out. On the other hand, we can theorize that Dan Heng was never actually reborn. He was Imbibitor Lunae and then he just changed his appearance when he got banished from the Xianzhou Luofu to hide from his past, from the people that hate him, and from Blade. None of this has been confirmed in story yet, and while we can speculate and theorize, we'll most likely have to wait for the next chapter of the Trailblaze quest to find out more. However, Imbibitor Lunae was actually mentioned in Yanqing's recent companion quest. I'm not going to spoil anything important from the quest, but we do learn about something called the Sword Champion, which was the title given to someone within the Cloud Knights who reaches the pinnacle of swordsmanship, but this was a long time ago. Yanqing then says,
Ever since the sedition of Imbibitor Lunae, the title of Sword Champion has gone unclaimed.
Now, sedition is basically a crime where you disobey your government. So again, we get the vibes that Imbibitor Lunae once held a very high and important and powerful position within the Xianzhou Luofu, but then something terrible happened and he was banished. And Blade wants to kill him. Sounds like a very stressful life, which explains why Dan Heng is currently hiding out on the Express. There is more information out there on Imbibitor Lunae as a character and his backstory, but these are leaks and they are spoilers. So don't go looking for them unless you want the major Honkai Star Rail storyline to be spoiled. If you have any theories about who Imbibitor Lunae is, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more Honkai Star Rail content. I also stream Honkai Star Rail on Twitch pretty much every day, so I will see you guys over on Twitch.